What if the next big disruption in the electric vehicle industry doesn't come from a fully electric car? What if the vehicle that reshapes the future of transportation still has a gasoline engine under the hood? It sounds almost contradictory, right? But that's exactly what's happening right now. Because while companies like Tesla are pushing aggressively toward a fully electric future, and Chinese automakers are flooding the market with affordable EVs, Toyota, the world's largest automaker, has been quietly working on something very different. And now, with the arrival of the 2026 Toyota RAV4 Plug-In Hybrid, that strategy is finally stepping into the spotlight. At first glance, it looks like just another compact SUV, but underneath that familiar design is a system that could completely reshape how the world transitions to electric mobility. So the real question is this just another hybrid? Or is this Toyota's smartest move yet? Before we break it all down, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because here on US Finance Wire, we go beyond the headlines and uncover the real stories shaping the future of business, tech, and the auto industry. The global EV race is heating up. Over the past decade, the global automotive industry has gone through one of the biggest transformations in its history. Not long ago, electric vehicles were seen as experimental. They were niche products, limited range, high prices, and not very practical for everyday use. But then everything changed. Companies like Tesla proved that electric cars could be fast. They could be stylish. And more importantly, they could be desirable. Suddenly, EVs weren't just about saving fuel, they became a symbol of innovation. Models like the Model 3 and Model Y didn't just sell well, they redefined what consumers expected from a modern car. And that success triggered a global reaction. Automakers around the world realized one thing: if they didn't go electric, they risked being left behind. The rise of global competition. Soon, legacy automakers like Ford, Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz began investing billions into EV development. At the same time, a new wave of competition emerged from China. Companies like BYD, NIO, and XPeng entered the global stage with something very powerful: affordable electric vehicles packed with advanced technology. And that combination changed everything, because now EVs were no longer just premium products, they were becoming accessible to the mass market. Why China changed the game. One of the biggest reasons behind China's rapid EV growth is cost efficiency. Chinese manufacturers have mastered large-scale battery production, and they've optimized supply chains in ways that dramatically reduce costs. For example, innovations like blade battery technology have improved both safety and durability, while keeping prices competitive. As a result, some EVs coming out of China are priced similarly or even lower than traditional gasoline cars. And that's a huge shift, because for the first time, electric vehicles are not just better, they're becoming cheaper. Government policies are accelerating the shift. Now add government policies into the mix. Across Europe, several countries are planning to phase out gasoline and diesel vehicles entirely by 2030 or 2035. In the United States, tax incentives and federal programs are encouraging EV adoption at a rapid pace. This has created a powerful momentum. It feels like the entire world is moving in one direction, toward a fully electric future. But there's a problem nobody talks about. Despite all this momentum, there's one critical issue that often gets overlooked. The transition to electric vehicles is not as simple as it sounds, because while EV adoption is growing rapidly, the infrastructure needed to support it is still catching up. Charging infrastructure challenges. In many parts of the world, even in developed markets, charging stations are still limited. For people living in apartments or areas without reliable charging access, owning a fully electric vehicle can be inconvenient, and that's a major barrier. Energy source reality. There's another important factor most people don't consider. Not all electricity is clean. In many regions, electricity is still generated using fossil fuels like coal and natural gas. So while EVs reduce emissions on the road, their overall environmental impact depends heavily on how that electricity is produced. Cost still matters. Then there's the issue of cost. Even though EV prices are coming down, they're still out of reach for many consumers. And when you combine that with charging limitations and range anxiety, you start to see the bigger picture. The world may be moving toward EVs, but not everyone is ready to make the switch. Toyota's different strategy. And this is exactly where Toyota took a different approach. Instead of rushing headfirst into full electrification, Toyota asked a simple question: what if the transition needs a middle step? The hybrid philosophy. Toyota isn't new to electrification. In fact, the company pioneered hybrid technology decades ago with the Prius. Long before EVs became mainstream, Toyota was already combining gasoline engines with electric motors to improve fuel efficiency and reduce emissions. And that experience gave them a unique advantage. Why Toyota didn't go all in on EVs? While other automakers were racing toward fully electric vehicles, Toyota stayed focused on hybrids and plug-in hybrids. Why? Because they believe the global transition won't happen overnight. Different countries have different infrastructure, different consumers have different needs. So instead of a one-size-fits-all solution, Toyota chose a multi-path strategy, the transition technology concept. Plug-in hybrids represent that transition. They offer electric driving for daily commutes, gasoline backup for long distances, lower emissions compared to traditional cars, and no range anxiety. In other words, they combine the best of both worlds. How plug-in hybrid technology really works. Let's break this down in simple terms. A plug-in hybrid vehicle is essentially powered by two systems: a traditional gasoline engine, an electric motor powered by a battery, but instead of competing, these systems work together. City driving, fully electric mode. In stop-and-go traffic or short daily trips, the vehicle can run entirely on electric power. That means zero fuel consumption, near-silent driving, instant acceleration. For many drivers, this alone can cover their daily commute. Highway driving, hybrid power. When more power is needed, like highway speeds, the gasoline engine kicks in. This provides extended range, consistent performance, no need to worry about charging stations. Charging flexibility. The battery can be charged in multiple ways. Plugging into a home charger, public charging stations, regenerative braking, engine-assisted charging. So even if you forget to plug it in, the car still manages energy efficiently. Driving experience. One of the biggest surprises for new drivers is how smooth it feels. Electric motors deliver instant torque, so acceleration feels immediate and responsive. There's no lag, no noise, just a clean, effortless driving experience. Why this matters right now. Here's where things get really interesting, because plug-in hybrids aren't just a technical solution, they could reshape the entire EV transition strategy. A bridge between two worlds. For millions of consumers who are unsure about going fully electric, plug-in hybrids offer a safe entry point. They reduce fuel consumption, lower emissions, and still provide the reliability people are used to. Growing demand. In markets like the United States and Europe, demand for plug-in hybrids is steadily increasing, especially among buyers who want efficiency but aren't ready to commit to a fully electric lifestyle. Toyota's big bet. And this is exactly where the 2026 Toyota RAV4 Plug-In Hybrid comes in. It's not just another SUV, it's a strategic move, a signal that the future of mobility might not be as simple as electric versus gasoline. Instead, the future could be a mix of both. Cliffhanger. But this is just the beginning, because once you look deeper into the RAV4 itself, its design, performance, pricing, and market positioning, you start to realize something surprising. This SUV isn't just competing with hybrids. It's going head-to-head with fully electric vehicles like the Tesla Model Y. And in some ways, it might actually have the advantage. In the next part, we'll break down the full design and features of the 2026 RAV4 Plug-In Hybrid real-world performance and electric range pricing strategy and competition, and whether this SUV could actually challenge EV dominance.